Hi, I'm Stephen Long. I'm here at the 10th Annual Terroir Creative Writing Festival. And I have to say I'm pleased and proud because I was one of the first folks to assist in putting this on 10 years ago. Barbara Drake came to me and asked if I would help, and I was happy to do that. And I think when something is sustained for this long, it has some value. And I look back at the people that we've had as keynote speakers or presenters, and pretty high quality. It's been a valuable asset to our community. For 10 years now, we've had our open mic session at the end of the day. And I think about that as we've been stimulated, we've been prompted to write these things. So sometimes people bring something they've worked on previously, but then sometimes it's what they generated in the day. And I've been privileged to be the host for this, I think 10 years now. And it's just fun to see, again, the quality or the excitement that people bring to the open mic session. And if you have something, boy, I'd encourage you to join us.
Hello, my name is Guadalupe Garcia McCall, and I am the author of Summer of the Mariposas. Today we're here at the Terroir Creative Writing Festival in McMinnville. I gave a workshop called Contemplative Writing. It was all about the art of listening to the gift of words. I met some wonderful, wonderful writers who were all very special and shared so much about themselves. If I had to tell you anything, it would be to not give up on your writing, to continue working on it, and faithfully and devotedly give yourself to it.
Hi, my name is Mike Sanchonnet, and I'm here going to poetry workshops at the Terroir Festival. Terroir started 10 years ago. I was on the executive board and working with Barbara Drake, and it just is a thrill that here it is 10 years later, and we're sold out. The workshops are poetry and all phases of different kinds of prose writing. And they change from year to year. Some years there's more memoir, some years there's fiction, various kinds of children's story, that kind of thing. And with me being a screenwriter, I'm hoping maybe next year we'll have a workshop on screenwriting. Terroir is a festival that stimulates and connects writers. I get to say hi to a lot of people that I don't see except for maybe once in a while or maybe only once a year at the festival. They're all writers, we're all writers, but we don't always come together. This Terroir Festival does bring us together and allows us to sort of support each other in a way that you just don't get when you're all by yourself writing. We try to spread various things we're doing. For example, last night some writers, several of them who are here, did a Writing While You Wait fundraiser for the McMinnville Library. The night before that, a number of writers got together at 10 Oaks and did a painting to poem event. All of those things are smaller groups, but what Terroir does is it brings the whole community. In fact, people even from Portland and Hillsborough and out of our community participate. It's just really a wonderful opportunity. The other thing that the festival brings us together, there's a writing group once a month, open door, held at the McMinnville Library in the Carnegie Room. You can come and see if you fit in. You don't have to have anything writing. You can just be a reader, give feedback. If you feel comfortable with sharing your writing, you'll get excellent feedback from folks. That group has been going for probably 7 or 8 years. So it's a very established once a month on the second Monday at 7 o'clock. Another thing that McMinnville and McMinnville Community Media has a film club. And the film club actually produces from scratch all the way to completion a movie. We're now working on our third movie. The idea is to bring each person who may or may not have any expertise all the way through from selecting a script, from auditions to the various roles involved with camera and editing and all of those things. So you get an experience all the way through the entire process. So it's a real opportunity. That's the second Saturday at McMinnville Community Media, which is 825 Northeast 3rd. And it's an open group. To the extent that you're interested and you want to participate, we have a number of actors that come in and a number of screenwriters as well as production people. And we all participate and get it all the way through. And these are established groups, and we always want to have a handout to anybody who would be interested.
Hi, I'm Karen Willard, and I'm here at the 10th Annual Terroir Creative Writing Festival, and so far it's just been a wonderful experience. I was able to hear Kim Stafford. He's our keynote speaker this morning, and he was just fantastic. He has just got such a personable way about him, and just talking about poetry and plays. It was just wonderful and very inspiring. One of the best things about the festival is just meeting so many people that I haven't seen before. They're just people that love to write. So just connecting, I mean, there's coffee and pastries and just wonderful people, and so I'm just having a great time. I was able to hear Michael Kupperman. He was talking about tense and retrospection, something I had never thought about really, and it was very interesting about how we tend to talk about the present and the past, and we kind of convolute things, and if you're talking about the past and you have it in the present, then it's hard for the reader to discern if it's the past or the present. But he made it very simple in his explanation, and so I'm excited to try writing some poetry in that regard. So I'm very excited. It's a lunch break right now, but we have another keynote speaker. It'll be fantastic. I always go see Barbara Drake when I come here because she is our little gem in Yamhill County. And I just read her latest poetry book, so I'm really excited to hear what she has to say. She's going to be talking about nonfiction for everyone. And Kim Stafford is coming back for more. There's people that you can just, if you want to just sit and listen to some wonderful readings, you can do that. So there's so much in here. I am so excited. And I think if you've never been to the Terroir Festival, I would come because you're going to just meet some of the greatest, most creative people here. And it's just fun.
Hello, my name is Mike Paull, and I'm here at this year's Terroir Festival in McMinnville at Chemeketa College. It's been a great experience, as it was last year. I find it to be so invigorating to be around all these wonderful writers and poets and people who are willing to teach and expound on their knowledge. It's an awesome thing, and I really suggest that anyone who ever gets a chance to do it, and do it a lot.
It's exciting, and you want to read only your best 3 or 4 chapters out of your new novel. We're going to kind of limit it to 1 page, and if it spills over a little bit, that's okay. I've had a problem in the past. People read from their phone. Well, I don't know if it's a page or not, and it's just on and on. But anyway, Susan, you want to get us started?
Yes, thank you.
Or a laptop, I don't know if it's a page. All right.
I have a wonderful writers group that I've worked with for 10 years, so I just want to give a big shout out to my writers group. The name of this poem is Sestina from the Vestry. Bright dress socks and shiny pointed shoes, designed for rhetoric and intellect, carrying the insights of lovers between cues and cues that reveal waning immunity beneath clerical robes. A brilliant tie, knotted in tradition, yet loose enough for him to take the hand of a child whose fire-riddled face glowed in the final lyrics of No Darkness at All. He waxed eloquently, bonding in transformative whispers, wading in, arms crossed, leaning back into water, graced by an ordained arm of descent. A face is freed for men with bats in the alley behind the bar, waiting for a dyke knuckling under. Blood brothers, not sisters, defined by old measures of faith, beaten into leather books that highlight a single man's offer of bread and wine in red. washing dusty miles from followers' feet. Triune lived empathy. Without chorus or hymn, 2 childhoods bowed with rosy rings until epidemic lies and lies of the epidemic blew out the unity candle and forced apart the dogged church, resisting dogmas, foolish do-overs, foregoing offspring, refusing perplexity, angering sleep, yours and mine. We find sanctuary where a morning melody lingers between the narthex and the sacristy, alighting on oneself. Thank you.
You know, I had the opportunity to interview Kim Stafford, and one of the things I asked was, what does it tell us about a poem when they're really accessible or when they're sort of enigmatic? And he said he tries to be in that spectrum. You don't want it to be gobbledygook, but you should reach a little bit. And I think for me that would be, I'd love to read that, and I'm not sure that I got everything, but I've also been in poetry classes where I admitted I don't get it, but I like it. So I don't get it, but I like it. Susan, in fact, this young lady was in that same class, huh?
Okay, this is a proposed beginning for a very long fantasy line. Remember, Grandfather said as he adjusted the heavy glove on Rudy's skinny wrist, hold your arm straight, your hand to the side, yes child, like that. With his teeth, Grandfather cinched the goat's hide thong and found the blood tighter. When the bird comes in, it'll come fast. You need to be steady. It's a young one, the little girl, like you. He gave Rune a friendly cuff on the back of the head. Rune grinned at Mother, who stood with Aerith over by the cart, both of them grinning wildly back. Far behind them, at the edge of the forest, a dark-haired girl watched them all. Rune had time to think she must be chilly, dressed as she was in only a thin white gown. And then Grandfather said, go ahead, child, when you're ready, call. Rune wet his lips, tipped back his head, and shouted into the graying sky, fair, Aeho, and he whistled. A black dot at the edge of sight grew suddenly bigger, rushing for his face. At the last moment, Rune closed his eyes, but that was all the flinching he did. The nail hit his arm like a rock that stopped falling just before it struck. Its tongue squeezed his bones as a small bird wobbled on his arm. Rune opened his eyes to see the Nea's beak tearing at the bit of goat meat pinched between his fingers. His grin nearly split his face. Grandfather laughed. A fine job. Girl! The keeper came up with Fair's hood, his arm gloved like Rune's, another bit of meat in his hand. The little Nea hopped to Girl's glove, and Rune, still beaming, pulled at the bindings on his arm. The knot tightened, but when he turned to Grandfather for help, Lunar came up, walking through the grass. The old historian had papers in his hand.
That reminded me, how much do you have?
How much do I have here?
Yeah. No, I mean,
In general.
of this story.
10 chapters. So
Okay.
you're coming, this is the, like a third of the way in the book. We already know the Casadas family.
Okay.
We're just meeting Jen.
Yeah, that's nice. What I was going to say, it reminds me that when I was, what I thought at the time was quite old, I took a writing class. And I thought I was quite old because I felt that I was the oldest one in the class. But it was, I loved it and it was terrific, and we met then afterwards and started what, I didn't know that there was such a thing as a critique group. And I thought, it's like this mysterious underground secret that we had. And to me, you're a secret. I didn't know that you were a writer, but it's terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to find out more about the writing groups.
Yeah, there's a working
Working draft writer
Working
workshop.
draft writers is one.
March, July, the second Monday of every month in the Carnegie Room of the McMinnville Public Library at 7 p.m.
I think writing groups are fabulous. The problem is you need to get the one that fits you. And I've been lucky that way. But I've also had some where it was more about drinking wine and gossiping, which are less helpful. Linda.
I'm Linda Gilbert, and what a delight to be here. What a great day.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a poem that if any of you have had an experience going into the hospital, this may be something that will kind of lead you in by having me say that. What I'll remember. After the great humiliation of standing on a scale where the numbers are broadcast in bright lights to whomever cares to look, I'm guided to a curtained room only slightly larger than a closet, where I'm instructed to kindly remove my clothes, slip my arms through slits in a tent with awkwardly placed ties, then climb onto a gurney. These and the umpteenth time I'm asked my name and birth date are the cold moments before surgery, the ones that pass quickly into the rubble of recollection scattered in my past. I write them down to remember. What I won't forget is the gentleness of the nurse who skillfully placed the needle for the IV in the back of my hand, the presence of my husband at my side, and the kindness of the surgeon sitting beside me on the gurney saying, "I hear you want me to pray with you." He does. I won't forget how the anesthesiologist asked if I'm comfortable or if I'd like another pillow, or the smiling faces around me when I look up. What a lovely way to leave the conscious world, having settled into a realm of trust before entering the world of my unknowing, where a large pearl would be removed from my chest along with breast tissue, leaving me with a star to remind me in case one day I forget.
This is not to be self-promoting, but just to let you know. Carolyn and I do an interview show, and we've talked about how lucky we are in this community to have so much talent. And they just keep coming. I love it. Priscilla?
I'm Priscilla Lowry, and yesterday I did something that I was brave to do. I heard about the Poetry on Demand, and it was a fundraiser for the McMinnville Library, so I came out from Newburgh so that I could terrify myself in front of an old typewriter. And it was so much fun. And I met a woman named Lucy who works at the library. She was here today, but she's gone. And we didn't have a lot of customers. There were 6 of us, which is great, 6 writers. And so we turned to each other and I said, well, how about I write one for you? You give me a few words and you write one for me. So she gave me the phrase, planting a garden. So it's on my phone, and of course it was scribbled on paper and then went straight to the typewriter, so this is how it's coming out. And what else can I say about it? I think it kind of fit Mr. Stafford's little assignment of exterior interior, which is good because I've got nowhere with that one today. Okay, it's really tiny on my phone. Planting a garden. The smell of compost intoxicates my chickens, who sneak in there to snack on the unturned, stagnating mound, not unlike my thoughts of late. So many of the same ones, the same moods, that beg mending like the rotting cedar beds, pleading me to free them from the insidious crabgrass, choking out last year's beets. A plot of gray matter in want of clarity. I'll start with a cup of tea. Imagine the warmth of the cup in my hands while listening to the sea. Then I will begin with 1 square inch, 1 square foot, and another, until my hands are lost in the contentment of the fallow soil that holds all possibility.
You know, again, I had the opportunity to interview Mr. Stafford, and I always ask poets this, but because I think it's a neat, I love their response. And I said, what is it about poetry that is so powerful? And I was thinking about that with yours. And he said, well, poetry is our natural language. We have to learn prose, which, and then he gave an example that I can't duplicate, but maybe that's it. So, Mike?
All right. Well,
another interviewee.
yeah, that's right.
And then you're going to have to sign this one.
Oh, I signed, okay. Hello, my name is Mike Paull, and I'm a little bit not quite so serious, so this one is going to be for the fun of it. And this is called The Deli Girl. I saw her down at the local deli, standing in front of the cheese that's smelly. I got a chill up and down my spine. In that line, she looked so fine, holding that $8 wine. I wanted to know her name, so I asked. She said Christine. She was pristine, but I just called her Lady. We hit it off and had a hit. To loosen up our tongues a bit, she told me she blew the harp, but so did I. I did not want to blow it, and she knew it. A joke, a laugh, some broken ice. She seemed contented. That was nice. There was a feeling called a vibe. Some things are too hard to describe, but I'll try. My octane burns fast and hot. She slammed the brakes on a lot. I had whiplash and a sore head bone. There was no parking in her comfort zone. After some time, we both moved on. Back at the deli, filling my belly, reading Facebook and wasting time. Over the end of the sub I was eating, I recognized her. She was tweeting. I got up, hesitant to interrupt, but I did. Christine, fancy meeting you here again. Must be 40 years ago back then. She looked really different, but so did I. She still had that shine that caught my eye. I wanted to hug her, but I thought twice. She hugged me, and that was nice. After dishing out the fine how do you do's, we spent 10 minutes swapping news and views. Those few minutes felt like an hour. The vision hit me of a time-lapse flower. The clerk called her name. He said, Chris. 1 kosher dill and 1 ham and Swiss. She grabbed her sandwich, turned and said goodbye. All I could say is I gave her a wave and a wink of an eye. I hope it's not too cheesy. She laughed.
I'm also reminded that there's no end to topics. They just keep coming. So, Amy, this is fun too, is to reunite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So, okay, right. Now, I've been in writing group with Susan and Stephen, and I write children's literature, and I'm a teacher, and so this is a story I've been working on for really a long time, and I always hope that this is the year that I finish it as I work on other things. But it's really great. The title, anyway, that I love. It's Bravo, Reggie, Theodore Brown, Art Saves Lives. My name is Reggie Theodore Brown. My mom says I have a purpose. Every day when I leave for school, she says, Reggie Theodore Brown, today you have a purpose and do it with all your heart. I just smile because I know moms like to say things, but every day I go out wondering just what my purpose is. I'm really not good at anything. My brothers Trevor and Parker, the stars on the track team, they win almost all their races. I'm not old enough to be on the track team. Besides, Veronica Bates always wins every race in gym class. My younger sister Tanya is a top-notch pianist. She is the best in her class and plays the piano perfectly. She's only 6. I tried to play the trumpet last summer like my Uncle Hal. He plays for a jazz band. My cheeks get too sore to practice, and it tickles my lips, so the trumpet sits in my room most of the time, on a chair and in the corner. Goodbye, Mom calls when I push my bike out of the shed. Remember your purpose. I nod. Most kids get remember your jacket, or do you have your homework? I have to remember my purpose, and frankly, what it is, I don't know. Every day seems the same. I ride my bike to school, like always. 2 blocks before school, I pass by Mr. Jenkins' unusual house. He waves from the window, and if he sees me. And then I wave to Stan at the corner market, where he piles the fresh produce for the day. I go by the shoe shop. My mom and sister dream about owning 1 pair of shoes from that window. Overly expensive is what I think. And my father says, all prices are negotiable only to you, son. For the price of 1 pair of those shoes, I could buy 1 good pair of sneakers, a light for my bike, a really cool rocket launcher, and still have leftovers for the rocket popsicle every week of summer. Just before getting to school, I turn by the bagel house where Bosco the sheepdog is having his morning bagel. And last I passed Bravo, the local cafe that has most superb ice cream I've ever tasted. Not to mention some flavors you have never heard of and are almost certain they are joking, like avocado. Mostly the flavors are delicious. Sometimes the line goes out the door and over to the bagel store. Those are the hot days before school gets out for summer. Usually I arrive at school just in time for the bell. I chain up my bike and walk in the door, tall double doors. I go to school like everyone else. Do I really need a purpose? Does everyone know I don't have one?
We have probably a little time if somebody wants to do something. No. Okay, well, thank you guys. I told you about the interviews. If you'd like to see them,
Comcast 11, Frontier 29.
okay, or YouTube,
Yep.
and then search The Writing Life, Stephen W. Long, and there they are. Okay.